electronics from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW Double or Nothing 2020 review. This took place live May 23rd, 2020 from the Daily's place, and they kick it off with a nice little video package thanking the essential workers out there, letting you know that AEW has got your back and they're there for you, because tonight it is Double or Nothing, and we're starting the show off with the Casino Ladder match. Every 2 minutes we will have more competitors, but we're going to start this thing off with two competitors in the ring, and that's going to be Scorpio Sky and Kazarian, part of SCU. Now, you would think that people as a part of a tag team or buddies would be smart and not fight each other, but they don't do that. They really want to win this thing. And whoever wins this match gets a title opportunity in the future. So it is high stakes here. And the next competitor to come out, the number 3 entrant, is Kip Sabian. And Jimmy Havoc, he's out there helping as well in this match. We see Darby Allin as the 4th. And Darby gonna do crazy stuff. This man gets on top of a ladder and ends up jumping off with his skateboard onto another ladder and breaking this thing into pieces. Now, all of the ladders in this match were all red, and I thought, you know, it would have been super cool if you had not only red but also black, because the whole card dynamic. Well, maybe they felt like they had enough cards because they had big giant cards laid out as part of the entrance. They had poker chips. They had casino machines out there in the crowd area. This thing was definitely looking like a casino, but no, we're not in Nevada. They're out there in Florida. Number 5, we have Orange Cassidy come out. He's walking out very slowly. He even has to stop by the announcer's table to ask them what the rules of the match is, because he's so lazy, he didn't even look into it. He didn't even know the rules of a ladder match. Was actually kind of funny. Comes down, tries to stand on top of the ladder, can't reach it from the ring, and has to wait for somebody to explain to him how ladder matches work. And Colt Cabana, he knows how to put up a ladder, but he also is smart enough to get Orange Cassidy out of the way, throw him out. Joey Janela comes out at number 7, flipping and flying his way into this match. Then it's Luchasaurus. And number 9, big surprise, who's it going to be? It was the to be announced. It is Brian Cage with Taz. So if he wasn't impressive looking enough, now he's got Taz on his side to sweeten the deal. Who knows? On his way out to the ring, he rips a ladder in half, which must take a lot of strength, letting us know that this guy's coming in with all kinds of devastation. Now, we've seen devastation because it's a ladder match, and of course, folks are flying each and every way through tables all over the place, but Brian Cage comes in and does his F5 plus move. It's like a F5, but the guy spins even more because, hey, why not? And yeah, this right here, Brian Cage, the guys in the match, they realize that Brian Cage is a big threat. So they double team, they triple team, they all team up on him and lift up a giant poker chip. And it was apparently heavy because it took all of these guys and placed it on top of Brian Cage, ensuring that he would be trapped for the rest of the night and they wouldn't have to worry about him. Penelope Ford ends up helping Kip Sabian. Havoc attacks. Cassidy's best friends come to help him when he's in trouble, because that's what best friends are for. And Janela shows up out of nowhere with a very small, very short ladder, not for climbing, but for striking people, which he does. And a Death Valley driver to Cassidy on top of that chip. And apparently this awakens Brian Cage. He makes his way out of this giant poker chip that's been placed on top of him. And boom, he comes in and pretty much instantly after he hulks up after this, he's up there and bam, he wins this match. So he's going to have a title opportunity. So what a debut for him. I wasn't expecting Brian Cage to debut. I thought it was going to be Pac or somebody else. But hey, well, apparently they think very highly of this man. AEW, they really do seem to have a lot of big, powerful, strong guys as their heels in the company. So somebody there really likes big, powerful dudes, apparently, because they keep showing up and they keep getting title opportunities. Next up, we got MJF versus Jungle Boy. And MJF, he has Wardlow. He is dominating during this match. And as Jungle Boy starts to show a little bit of fire in him, like maybe he's going to take this one, maybe he's going to take the lead on this one. No, MJF fakes a knee injury that even I was sitting there thinking, this man really looks hurt. But he wasn't. As soon as Jungle Boy turns his back, MJF is on the attack. And within this match, Jungle Boy, he starts to hurt his arm a little bit. So that's a little injury he's having to work through. These guys just stop the match and start chopping each other for whatever reason. Well, the reason was MJF decided to chop Jungle Boy's arm, which hurt him even more. And he has this injured arm. It's been injured even further. Jungle Boy gets a crossface on MJF, tries to get MJF to tap, but he can't hold it in because, of course, his arm has been injured. And MJF gets up and MJF wins this freaking match. You knew it was going to happen, and it happened. Next up, we got Cody Rhodes taking on Lance Archer. This is for the TNT Championship. This is the finals of the TNT Championship match. Now, Mike Tyson comes down. He's sitting ringside. They're showing shots of him throughout this match. He does seem to enjoy the match. We know that he's a big wrestling fan. But for about 1 second, they did, in fact, catch Mike Tyson over there snoozing a little bit. He had a little bit of the yawn action going on, which was kind of hilarious. Almost even funnier that they cut away from it so quickly. But Lance Archer, he's attacking some dude during his entrance, as he does. Yes, they're going to continue to do this. I don't know why. Cody comes out with Arn Anderson. And the referee, before the match, gives these guys an opportunity to shake hands. Well, of course, they don't do that. Lance Archer is all over this thing. He's punishing Cody. He's punishing him. But Cody, he starts to get a little bit of that comeback. But Lance Archer, he's a real jerk. I mean, he's taking off the turnbuckle. He's doing whatever he can. And Cody does the DDT, and Jake the Snake Roberts is mad. Well, I'd be mad too if you stole his move, but apparently Jake Roberts doesn't watch just wrestling in general because they do DDTs about every match about 100 times. Anyways, Lance, he walks the rope like Taker, but unlike Undertaker, when he walks the rope, he does a backflip in the process. And we have Arn Anderson, for whatever reason, even though he's a good guy, he helps Cody Rhodes, which I thought was strange because why would he do that? Helping him physically. He's supposed to be there to give him a game plan. I mean, he's got that big sheet with all the notes and the highlights on it, so why is he not using that? But another referee comes down and is like, hey, he cheated. And the regular referee's like, well, I guess, since you said that, I didn't see it, but you saw it. We got to eject Arn Anderson. Okay. But after 2 crossroads, Cody Rhodes hits him with the pin and becomes the TNT champion. For the first time ever, the first champion, the first TNT champion. Well, the championship is not done. It looks like they should have spent a lot more money on the championship and a lot less money on Mike Tyson. Apparently, because everything going on, they couldn't get the belt done in time. There were pieces missing, and it damn sure showed. That thing looked like a $200 independent wrestling championship belt. So can't wait to see what the final product looks like. Right now, it just looks generic. Very, very generic. And as we move on, we actually see Britt Baker's doctor speaking about Britt Baker's injury. And they're putting some of her sayings in there. You could tell that the doctor had spoken with Britt Baker in the past, because he's letting us know that she's a role model and there were certain things he needed to say as far as the doctor, Britt Baker. Well, in the end, the thing is, Britt Baker is going to let us know on Wednesday night what her status is and when she'll be back in the ring. So we'll have something to look forward to this upcoming Wednesday. We got Penelope Ford taking on Chris Statlander. Originally, this was going to be the spot where Britt Baker took on Chris Statlander, but because of the injury, she was taken out of this match. And Kip Sabian, he is ringside with Penelope Ford, looking like some kind of deviant art Dr. Robotnik, featuring some taped up neck and arms. He's almost like a mummy. He's wrapped up so much from the match previously. But this was a pretty alright match right here. But at the end of the day, you knew what was going to happen. Big Bang Theory and Chris Statlander, she wins this match right here. Next up, it's Shawn Spears versus Dustin Rhodes. Is Dustin Rhodes actually retired? Is he not? Shawn Spears is dressed up in his business casual because for some reason he thinks that Dustin Rhodes isn't going to be there. So he does a little promo, plays Dustin Rhodes' music, like, oh no, is he going to come out? And then he looks at the camera and gives a little wink, letting us know that he pre-planned that, and Dustin Rhodes actually isn't there. Well, as he goes on, Dustin Rhodes' music plays again, and he's like, you idiots in the production, I told you to only play it once. But it wasn't a mishap on the audio cue. Oh no. We see Brandy Rhodes come out, and we're thinking, what is Brandy Rhodes doing here? Why wasn't Brandy Rhodes in the TNT Championship match with her husband? Oh, because she's a strong, independent woman. So instead, she's backing up his brother. Oh, okay, whatever. I mean, whatever you got to tell yourself to sleep at night. She got on this show, by God. And then we see Dustin Rhodes behind Shawn Spears, and he goes after that man. He is attacking, and Dustin Rhodes, he looks very good. Like, he looked like he'd been working out. He's in great shape, better than ever. As he starts attacking now Shawn Spears. He's not in his wrestling gear. He starts getting stripped down by Dustin Rhodes to the point where the man is in his damn underwear. We see Shawn Spears' ass, literally and physically. And even at one point on his boxers, we see his manager's face on Shawn Spears. Tully Blanchard's little face right in his penile region. I guess we needed to see his face somehow because Tully Blanchard was not here at this pay-per-view on his side, and maybe if he was, Dustin Rhodes wouldn't have put the beating on him that he did. And Dustin Rhodes, on fire, he beats Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears in his socks, in his sock garters. So Shawn Spears looked like a complete ridiculous person here. And he lost. Brandy Rhodes is happy, so everyone's happy. Yes, All Out is coming September 5th, so get ready for that. That's a couple months away, but hopefully we'll be seeing a full crowd by that time. Right now we have Nyla Rose, the women's champion, taken on Cheetah. It's no disqualifications, no countouts. And Nyla Rose comes wielding that kendo stick. Cheetah, she has no stick. But Cheetah, she tries to control it, but Nyla Rose is way too strong, and they fight over this thing. They end up fighting into the crowd area. We see more of these props. There's a big poker chip that is up, and it doesn't stay up for very long because Nyla Rose gets thrown through it. through these big props. There's a table set in the corner, and Cheetah, she goes through it. She kicks out, however. But Cheetah, she hits that big old knee. She's attacking like crazy, and right here at the end, that big running knee, and Cheetah surprisingly becomes the women's champion. And they had mentioned how Kimura had passed away recently, and how this was basically for her. So, big props to Cheetah. That was completely unexpected to me. I thought that this had Nyla Rose all in the bag, but Cheetah, she's been on a 10-match winning spree, is that right? And that winning spree did not end here. Now we have Moxley versus Mr. Brodie Lee. Moxley is the AEW champion. However, Mr. Brodie Lee, the exalted one from the Dark Order, has been in physical possession of that championship. This is a semi-main event. And before these guys start, there's a wall of safety guys. I don't know what safety stands for because there was little dots in between it, so it was an acronym. I don't know what that stands for, but however, they were standing in a line. One guy would face this way, another guy would face this way, and trying to keep these guys apart. I think that was a good way to build some tension of how much these guys wanted to get their hands on each other, or probably more for Moxley on how he wanted to tear this guy apart. And of course, these guys are fighting all over the place. Brodie Lee gets backdropped onto the timekeepers to the ring bell area, and tossing each other into chips through cards. Even at one point, a paradigm shift through the freaking stage. Moxley, he gets out of it first. This gives me some old school ECW vibes. What was it? It was Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow back in the day going through the stage. So that was a good old throwback right there. I like that. Paradigm shift. Back in the ring. Only gets a 1. Moxley goes for it again. He's like a rabid dog. And another paradigm shift. Then Mr. Brodie Lee kicks out at 2. He goes for a submission. And Mr. Brodie Lee taps out to this submission and gets his belt back physically, although he is still the AEW champion. So this is a pretty entertaining match here that they had. I was not expecting them to go through the stage, that is for sure, and I did not expect a submission finish, but that's what you got. A reminder, AEW has some action figures, and they're coming out this August, and I really feel like I gotta sneeze, but I'm not going to, so I'm going to think about watermelons, because that always works. Think about watermelons, and you won't sneeze. And, I'm not sneezing. Now for the main event. It is the Stadium Stampede. And it's going to be crazy. We don't know what we're going to expect. We get a big old flyover over this football stadium. We see cheerleaders. We see football entrances as the Inner Circle come running out in their football jerseys doing that. So that was kind of funny the way they did it. And they're taking on the Elite. We got Matt Hardy, Kenny Omega, Page, Young Bucks. And they end up on opposite sides at the 20-yard line. The ring bell rings, and then they run towards each other. Now, we do have the ring on the 50-yard line, but whatever. It was just, like, at this point, I thought, this is kind of ridiculous, and this is kind of weird. But I had no idea what I was about to be in store for and what was going to be to come. We don't actually see at first Hangman Page. We don't know where he is. We assume he's at a bar somewhere. But he does show up on a freaking horse. That is the kind of entrance this man should be making, on a freaking horse. And he comes galloping down, coming after Sammy Guevara, which Sammy Guevara starts running away into the backstage area. Sammy Guevara slips out and actually goes back to the football field, but Hangman Page does not know this. He sees a sign pointing towards what he believes to be a bar, and his nose pointed him the right way. The man, yes, he is out having drinks once again. It was strange to me that Omega and Hangman Page didn't make their entrance together because they are tag team champions. They didn't even make them consecutively, but whatever. I'm sure they won't be champions for too much longer. Yeah, these guys, oh my goodness. Mac Jackson actually does a moonsault from the goalpost, which I've always wanted to do, but I'm not very good at moonsaults, so I wouldn't try that, and it looked very shaky. And the guys, they didn't really catch very much of him. It was pretty much Jackson catching all of the turf, and that looked very painful. But hey, these guys were on their YouTube channel wrestling on the ground, so their bodies apparently are good for it. Santana and Ortiz powerbomb Omega through a barricade. Hardy gets into a VIP pool, and Santana and Ortiz, they're trying to drown Hardy. Well, he comes back up, and we see like 1999, 2000 Matt Hardy. So I don't know, this hot tub or pool or whatever, it's a time traveling device as well. I don't know what's going on in the mind of Hardy. They do it again, and version 1 comes out, and they actually have some matter of the facts, because they can't have the Matt facts, or whatever the heck they called it back in 2003. But they have a similar rip-off version on the screen for laughs. He goes back into the water, comes out, and Matt, he just keeps changing. Matt tosses Santana and Ortiz through a table, and Hardy, he rings Ortiz's bell. Literally, there's this giant Liberty-looking bell that he puts him in, and his head is just ringing. This thing is like a freaking Looney Tunes cartoon. It's just insane. Hardy locks Santana in an ice chest. Last time we saw an ice chest, Matt Hardy came out of it, and he was a different person. But Hardy does let him know that this is for inflammation. This will help you out. So, he's just trying to be a good dude here. Hangman Page is found by Jake Hager at the bar, and they share a drink right before they share fists. They start fighting. Page gets chokeslammed on a pool table. We see a cue stick broken. We see all kinds of bar type stuff. Omega, he joins. Bucks shot lariat over the bar. We see a spot where somebody gets thrown across the bar. I believe that was Hangman Page got thrown across the bar by Hager. So all the classic bar fight tropes that you would want to see, you see them all here. And to celebrate, once Omega and Page have kind of gained control of this, they share a drink, and Omega has a glass of milk like he was freaking Kurt Angle. So back to the action. Jericho, he throws a guy into like this big jaguar head, and then the mascot for the football team appears, and he's all upset, and Jericho hits him with that back elbow, and of course knocks that dude out. Jericho goes for a pin, gets a 2 count, and Jericho wants Aubrey Edwards to show him a replay, so Aubrey Edwards goes into a replay tent and verifies that she was correct the first time. Nix hits a 100-yard Northern Lights suplex. He did it once, he did it twice, he did it for 100 yards. Of course, that is just insane. This match, every part of it is just off the wall insane. Yeah. Nick goes to the top of the steps, runs down, and does a splash through a table, which was just completely bonkers. Page paints a line right over Jericho with one of those line machines. You make the lines on the football field, goes right through Jericho's coccyx region, across his face and everything. Omega and Hardy are driving a gator. Oh no, watch out, Sammy Guevara. Nero 1 flies in. What the heck? Now we got drones up in here. And a 1-wing angle to Guevara. And there was also, one-winged. He did this one-wing angel, and I'm talking about he fell from heaven because he was so high up, fell through all these tables, and Guevara's just laying there completely out of it. I mean, they shot this thing from so many different angles. There was a video camera here, there, and everywhere. I'm surprised if the new Neo 1 camera from their drone didn't catch this thing as well. But hey, it was worth it. That was a good ass spot right there. And Omega wins this one for the Elite. That was AEW Double or Nothing 2020. This last match was just so freaking insane. There was just so much mayhem. It was so much to talk about in this match. I can't imagine we'll see a match like this again. I mean, once you have fans there's a lot of this stuff that you couldn't have done. But they used all of that to their advantage, and I think that was very smart, and it did make it very entertaining. I felt like I got my money's worth. That was AEW Double or Nothing 2020.